All right, so today we're going to talk about the Major Arcana. These are spiritual, more spiritual types of cards. These are have a deeper meanings than the minor arcanas, um, and so they're not as mundane or day to day. They more have deeper meanings to them. And we start off with the Fool. Fool is not necessarily a fool, but he's new and he's fresh and he's never done it before. So all things that are pertaining to not familiar with it or haven't had experience with it would show up as a fool. The right side up things are okay, it's the right path, and upside down things are not okay, it's not the right path. So a lot of the meanings that, or the times that the fool shows up in a reading is telling you the person's on the right path. It's not just right or wrong, it's not just yes or no, the right path. So this road is going where it's supposed to be going, and all the other people on this same road that I'm on are just like me. We're all going to the same place. So this is the correct path. And upside down would be not just yes or no, but incorrect path. You're not on the right path. And things of doing illegal mischief kinds of things show up upside down like this is not the right path because it won't lead to anything good. So you get that with this card about the appropriateness of whatever you're doing. Then we start going into everything past the Fool has some experience. Okay, again we're talking about spiritual, and we're talking about spiritual. We're talking about making things happen. We're talking about magic. We're talking about a lot of things with deeper meanings than just the minors. Now we get the magician. Magician is somebody that makes something happen. Okay. And with experience, because it's beyond the Fool. And right side up, the person's making something good happen, and making something happen successfully, and you can expect some magic out of it, okay? But a lot of times there's no magic at all. I shouldn't say could expect magic. Sometimes there's no magic. Sometimes the person's just going to make this happen because they know how to do it. That's also likely and, quite frankly, a little more common in reading than the magical part, to be honest. So upside down, not making it happen. And it also implies black magic or magic being applied in an inappropriate way, or applied at all, it's inappropriate, so black magic would be included. But I can't remember the last time I was reading black magic into this card in a reading. It doesn't come up that often. It wouldn't really come up, but sometimes it does. That's the number one card. Next we get into the High Priestess. High Priestess is anything intuitive or psychic, okay, first of all. But the High Priestess is the ideal female card in the deck. So if it shows up in a man's reading where he's talking about his relationships, this is the ideal woman for him, okay? If we're reading for a woman, she's talking about developing this or developing that. She's the perfect person for herself. She has, she's developing herself into what she needs to be. So it's a really nice card to show up when you get it in different ways. And it implies the ideal person, the ideal situation. Upside down, she's just mad as hell. Bitter and unhappy, okay? Not a lot else you can say. When you start trying to talk more into it, then this person is just not happy. Not set right. Mad as hell, not going to take it anymore, okay? And there's a lot of other cards indicating different kinds of mental states that people get into, but this one is bitter and unhappy, and with all that applies. Right side up is a perfect woman for whoever, even for herself. Now we got another woman. This is the Great Mother card. This is the mother of the deck. What do mothers do? They give birth. When they give birth, something new is coming forth. It doesn't have to be a baby. But if you got a new business started, this would be an opportunity for the Great Mother to show up that this is giving birth to something that looks like it'll be around a while. You don't expect the baby to be gone next year. Pregnant. You could be pregnant with thought. The idea of pregnancy is good. Upside down it's also, I would say, of all the cards, this would be the productivity card. This would measure productivity, a measurable productivity. Upside down, not productive, okay? not giving birth to a new idea, just the opposite. So that's the mother. You probably can guess the fourth card, the Great Father. Sure enough, yes. This was the Emperor. So the Empress, now we have the Emperor. Plan, organize, execute. This is typically doing man kind of things, okay? As a Great Father would do. So if you look at somebody to take charge, this would be a take charge kind of card. And when it shows up, the person is taking charge, just like it would imply it would be. Upside down, shirking responsibility, not taking charge, okay? So it's nothing to do with pregnancy or giving birth to new things like the female, but it's got the whole male idea of plan, organize, execute, get the job done, or not. Now we get into this one. Now we're beyond mom and dad and the kid. Now we're into the structure, order, structure. This is the establishment. This would be the Catholic Church. This would be the government. This would be the institution of anything, the institution of justice, the institution of education, the institution of anything. This would be the powers that be. This would be the final authority, okay? And when you see it right side up, things are going that way, usual and customary. Upside down, it's got a fly-by-night kind of aspect to it, but not necessarily negative. Anything that's done your way, you're in charge, or you don't want to follow the prescribed path. It's not always right to follow the prescribed path. So you can't say this is wrong. Sometimes it is. Sometimes this one is wrong. If you're following the institution of it, the expected way that, maybe you're not Catholic, and maybe we're talking about, following a thing that the Catholics would follow, or some religion would all fit into this. This is the institution of. Anyway, so it tells you an awful lot about where that sits in the whole scheme of things. Upside down, obviously, would be different. This would be customary. The sixth one is the lovers. Now, I don't have to say a lot about this. We're looking at a positive aspect of people being lovers. So that's the meaning of the card. It's not the only meaning. And another major meaning is right choice or wrong choice. It's a little bit like the Fool card, but it's not the Fool card. We're talking about making a choice that would have positive effects, or making a choice upside down that would have negative consequences, okay? The choice that you're choosing is going to hurt you. Your choice in the matter is the right one. Don't worry about it. You're doing the right thing, okay? Now we got the Chariot, okay? Synchronicity is the word here. Synchronicity, things following in the path, like guided by the angels. Every step of the way is guided by the spiritual forces involved here. So right side up is always a positive card of being in flow of the guidance that's offered you through spiritual and the way things should go. And things are synchronistic. They'll go really easy and quick, and they'll just, like the water's coming down, the river's flowing down this way, it's going to come down this way. You're in the flow of the harmony of nature. Upside down, you're going against the grain. Okay, this doesn't work. Swimming upstream. Okay, hitting one's head against the wall. All these things are upside down. So we're looking at synchronicity, the Chariot, right side up or upside down. Now we got the Strength card. Now we don't see a muscle man over here lifting weights. We see a woman and a lion, which is slightly different than the typical Strength card that you'd get. This isn't the person working out in the gym. This is a person that has metaphysical kinds of strength, other kinds of strength. Like a woman would have strength enough to take care of the lion, or not get bitten, not get hurt by the lion, or tame the lion, okay? Inner strength would be this card, okay? And the opposite, as soon as you turn it upside down, you just don't have that anymore. It's just the opposite. There's no inner strength. There's no power, no metaphysical power, or anything else, This person doesn't have that quality, or this situation is not being applied right. It's going to be difficult if you don't go with the flow. Weakness. Not physical weakness in the gym. Internal weakness, if it's upside down. Now, then we go into the number 9 major arcana, the Hermit. As you might imagine, the Hermit has 2 major meanings. One is the wisdom of it. The right side up, you know, you can tell the person, well, this is, you're applying the right wisdom. You know, you're applying wisdom and this will work for you. Upside down is just not wise at all, unwise. It doesn't have to be about wisdom. From my experience in readings, most of my readings when this shows up is talking about wisdom. But it could be alone. The hermit is very much alone. In fact, by the definition of the hermit, is not with anybody else. The person's alone. So we could be talking about a person being alone right side up, not alone anymore upside down. I would say a good percentage of my readings will talk about that situation, somebody being isolated. You know, an isolated thing would be kind of, wouldn't be right side up either. Isolated would show up this way. Isolated. And that's a condition that a lot of people are in. Being isolated is not good for them. They don't realize it a lot of times. That's the hermit, number 9. This one is easy to remember because luck is luck. It's not about any divine providence. It's not about any kind of application of smarts or entitlement or anything else. It's just the luck of the dice. Now, in reality, few things are really lucky or unlucky. Everything has a cause and an effect. But if you want to look at things that just the luck, it's just the way it is. You know, that's the way the dice came out. It's lucky if it's right side up. The luck will be on your side. I think too, this is nothing is really a matter of luck. That if things appear like it's a matter of luck, this card shows up to tell the person that, you know, you'll be on the right side of the luck. The luck will come out for you. Or the luck won't come out. It's not going to be lucky. Upside down, not going to be lucky. That's an easy one to remember because people realize, you know, people think about things like that. Same basic thing applies to justice. This would be just. This would be fair. Okay, the fairness of the justice will come out. Upside down, unfair. This would be just about every reading. I mean, this is easy to read. What else is going to be? Is it fair or not? Justice. And you can talk about it depending on where it shows up. You know, it shows up as the basis. We're talking about justice being the basis of the whole reading. That in itself could be a significant find. Now we have the hangman. He doesn't look too unpleasant. I mean, he's hanging upside down, but he doesn't look like he's going to die of all the blood in his body going to his head. He's kind of the accepting kind of mode. He's accepting the fate, the way it is. He's dealing with the moment. The hangman won't be fighting with the moment or the present. He's supposed to make friends with the moment, make friends with what's going on. So whatever comes his way, he wants to deal with it in an adequate way. He doesn't want to reject it, run away with it, fight with it, like we mostly do. Most of us do fight with things we don't like. He'll face things he doesn't like and deal with it. Upside down would be the opposite of that. You know, the idea of things that come to you in the course of the day, you're always fighting with it or trying to change it or, you know, not going with the flow. The hangman definitely goes with the flow. It has the wisdom to know that, you know, this is in his environment. He's going to have to sit and deal with it, you know. Like the person that gets bills and doesn't read the bills because they don't want to deal with it. If you've ever done that, that would be the hangman upside down. How are we doing with time? Okay.
10 minutes.
The death card. That really says it all. It's something ending, something dying, something ending. It's not, however, a permanent death. So a physical death of somebody dying would not show up this way. Because something always transforms it. If something disappears, but something else shows up in this place. Something dies, something is reborn. It's a transformation card. And typically a good one. If people need to get rid of the old and bring in the new, they need to be transformed. This is a card that indicates that's going on. Transformation. Transformation. So things will be jerked from them. If they don't want to, they're holding it tight because they're afraid of losing it. All that would be happening here. But it's going to go anyway if this card shows up. And something else will be coming as a result of it. Usually something better if you're willing to let go of what you got. So this card is a need, the person has a need to let go of what they've got because they're blocking the way of this new thing coming in. Upside down, it dies, It doesn't get transformed. It's 6 feet under. That's it. It could be physical death, for that matter. Not that you want to be predicting that for the person coming for a reading, but yeah, it can be physical. If there's a physical death card, this is it. Or anything that just stops and that's it. It's just the dead end of that. It's not expected to be coming back in any other fashion. Well, this is the end of that story. Okay? A death card. Tempers is about things that get out of control or in control. It also includes anything like alcohol or drugs, in control or out of control. So if somebody has a drug problem, an alcoholic problem, this kind of card would indicate that it's under control or it's not under control. Temperance would be the ability to push it away, so I don't feel like drinking that vodka or whatever it is, or the drug, okay? So temperance right side up is things in control. It doesn't always have to be drugs or alcohol either. It could be emotional things. Some people are just emotional wrecks, and not being able to control yourself, whatever you're going through. You know, you're crying, or maybe you're mad, you're kicking tires. So emotional things that go out of control would be upside down. Emotional things in control would be right side up. Being able to control the alcohol or drugs right side up, not controlling it upside down. So that's pretty hard. These are all easy to understand. Next we come to the 15, the devil. In a word, the devil is the existence of fear. But there's a lot of extra other meanings to the devil. One that's most obvious to anybody look at this picture is domination and control. You know, or somebody putting somebody under a slavery kind of situation, as opposed to being free. So if you're looking at slavery, you're looking at this being the slave card. Okay. Most of the time in my readings, I would say over 60%, maybe even 70% of the time, we're just looking at fear. Fear. This card is the best card in the deck if you're the kind of guy like I am that value inner peace. This is the card of inner peace, joy, contentment. Doesn't mean you're happy. It means you're peaceful. It means you have a quiet inside, that everything is okay and you're in control. It doesn't talk about happiness. Happiness is different than quiet, peaceful, inner control. So that's the devil card. Some people think this is the worst card in the deck. I don't think so. Not anymore. When I first started reading it, I thought it was, oh my God, look at this. It's the lightning struck tower. The guy's coming out of the tower. He's going to fall to his death. This is anything shocking or catastrophic, and right side up, it is out of control. It could be talking about one of these cards, like the temperance card. But the tower would be out of control, and it'd be something shocking. Something all of a sudden happens. Wow, oh, look at that. Okay. Upside down, same thing as right side up, but not out of control. So this card seems to show up a lot. More than the right side up with my readings, I get a little more upside down than the right side up. When it is right side up, I want to pay attention to it because it's out of control. The star, it's about faith. The word about faith. But in reality, when you get the star right side up, it's not about having faith that it's going to happen. It will happen. This is actually a predictive card of something really wonderful happening, whatever you really, really want. That you're hoping will happen, it will happen. It's the card of hope. It's the card of faith. And it's predictably so. If it's in the future, it will happen. It's not for something you have to just wait and make sure to see what happens. It'll happen that way. Upside down, it's disappointing, really very disappointing, because it doesn't happen. It's the anti-faith card. That's the star. I mentioned before that I was of the thinking that the tower was the worst card in the deck. I don't think that anymore. I think this one could be. Because this card is the card of the moon is hidden from view. So all kinds of hidden agendas were included in this. Somebody with some plans that they don't choose to share with you because you wouldn't want to go along with it if they did. Things hidden, things being concealed from you. Typically when you start getting anxious feelings, you get this kind of thing going on. and people that are taking your power away. You got this kind of thing going on. This kind of thing shows up a lot with the things you don't know what's going on. That's what it means. It's the moon. It's the things that are hidden from view. Enlightenment. You want a card of enlightenment? This is it. This is the card of enlightenment. The card, there's other words to describe this besides enlightenment. I haven't got it in my mind right now. But enlightenment enlightenment will do. But metaphysically, it would be some kind of a state of knowingness. It's a wonderful card upside down. One of the best cards in the deck, actually. It doesn't talk about happiness or anything, but it talks about enlightenment. New things of understanding. This may be the best card in the deck. It's the spiritual marriage card. But if it's not about that, it's about just very, very positive things happening. It's a really bright card. Brightest card in the deck, and the sun is the brightest thing in the universe. So we saw that the other, well, we didn't see in this video, that there's another marriage card too that's in the minors. This is the major one. Upside down. Now, I see this card show up a lot when we're talking, actually the mundane one shows up more often. These are more important things, more spiritual things. But when they're talking about their marriage, these kind of things indicate it. And if the person's got a problem with getting married, they love you, they want to live with you the rest of their life, but they don't want to get married, you see this card come up like this. Now, he's not going to marry you. Sure enough, you get back, everything's great, but he didn't want to marry me. We're living together, have 2 kids. He didn't want to get married. Okay? Anyway, that's the sun. Now we get judgment. Now, there is an element of judgment in the judgment card. The idea, though, God's judgment on human beings is what it's really talking about. And in a practical matter, you get this card when people are moving on. Moving on. And so, whenever I get this card right side up, whether it's about a relationship or anything else, going to the next stage. Because it's a spiritual card, it's not just a physical thing that the person just happens to be moving on from this particular person. It's usually about a whole direction in life, because it's a spiritual card. There's another 8 that you look at for that, for a more minor kind of moving on. But this is a serious moving on card. And when you got it upside down, it's the most confusing card in the deck. There's another minor one that's confusing, but this one really is confusing. It's something you have to sit down and maybe take a couple of weeks to figure it out, or maybe longer. Or maybe it's a long period of time. It could be a long time that you're confused about some major issues about who you are and where you're going. It's a confusion card, indicating that that's either the past, present, future, wherever it happens to be in the spread. We get the last card of the deck. This is supposed to be the best card in the deck. I don't know. If you look at it this way, it's wrapping everything up in one nice, beautiful package and putting a ribbon on top. That would be the best card in the deck, if that's what you call the best card in the deck, because it's everything coming together for the good. Oh, and I got married. It wasn't just that he loved me. It wasn't just that I got security, that he's always going to be there for me. Our lifestyle changes. We now take a wonderful vacation every year. And he's got wonderful family. So we do things with his family, and he does stuff with our family. And everything's really, my life really took a better turn when I met Joe. That would be a symbol of that, the world cards. That is wonderful. Upside down, it's all true, but you're going to have to wait. And you don't even know how long you're going to have to wait. It's not going to happen right now. It's all you can really say. It's not ready. The egg is not going to hatch. Upside down. So that's the entire tarot, because this is the last one I've covered. And I thank you.